Hello, I'm Miranda Kahn.
And I'm John Bachman. Ahead today on Newsmax Now.
I don't see how he's electable.
But when people look at his record, it is not a conservative record.
Jeb and Trump trading jabs in New Hampshire, which will hold the nation's first primary. The dueling town halls, a stark contrast in terms of messaging and crowd attendance. How is Jeb trying to recover today? Plus,
candidate named D's Nuts.
Oh, no.
Really? A candidate registered as an independent from Iowa has the legal name of D's Nuts.
No.
Yes, you heard that right. There is a real presidential candidate with that name, and his poll numbers are better than a lot of the other hopefuls. But what does it say about the current state of our political system? Has it gone nuts?
Well, North Korea and South Korea trading fire. Will ballistic missiles be next? Where does the Pentagon stand on this? Newsmax insider Todd Wood, who just returned from the Korean Peninsula, joins us live. This is Newsmax Now. Hello, I'm John Bachman. We welcome you to Thursday right here on Newsmax TV. Remember when Jeb Bush was the GOP frontrunner? Yeah, me neither.
Well, let me refresh your memory. Both candidates were in New Hampshire yesterday holding dueling town hall meetings, and both have a lot riding on the nation's first primary in the Granite State. Bush and Trump's town halls were only about 20 miles apart, but both the GOP candidates did their best to prove they couldn't be further apart when it comes to how they stand on the issues.
We will never win. We will never win if we're appealing to people's anger each and every day. Mr. Trump has clearly got talent, but when people look at his record, it is not a conservative record.
Meanwhile, Trump, whose crowd was much larger, blasted Bush for three things that Trump thinks will cost Jeb votes at the ballot box.
And I would say between Common Core, his active love on immigration, and skin in the game with Iraq, that's the third one that we've now added, I don't see how he's electable.
Trump also made another promise about his strict policy on illegal immigrants.
The bad ones are getting out fast, day one. If I win, day one of my presidency, they're getting out. We're getting them out, and we're getting them out fast.
Oh, if that wasn't enough, Donald Trump also tops Jeb in 3 swing state polls, including Jeb's home state of Florida. All of this, according to the latest Quinnipiac poll. In Florida, Trump leads Jeb by 4 points. In Ohio, he trumps Jeb by about 16 points. And in Pennsylvania, Trump is up by 18 points, John.
Well, Trump is also now on the cover of Time magazine. The cover story's title, Deal With It. And I love it. But right now, I'm going to urge everyone to do more than just deal with it. Embrace it. Enjoy it while it lasts, because this whole situation is teaching us so much more about the current state of our political system. Today, I read a blog post from a guy named Alan Kelly, who runs a communication strategy and consulting firm called Playmaker Systems. Kelly's MO is to break down every political move and describe it kind of like a scam run by a grifter or a play an offensive side of a football team runs. They all have catchy names like the Call-Out or the Peacock, both of which Trump is an expert at. Kelly also gives the best explanation of the Trump phenomenon I have read thus far, and I quote here, "He is more a muse and a teaching prop for the American electorate than my perfect POTUS. He's up there with Steve Jobs, Oprah Winfrey, and Sir Richard Branson for his ability to manage media and change minds, and his plays are conspicuously similar to insurgents and activists like ISIS, Greenpeace, and PETA. A consultant who calls himself a reputation doctor lectured me recently about Trump's hollow soul and his need for more virtuous things. Trust, honesty, humility, transparency, accountability, and consistency were his prescriptions. But polls are better than Boy Scout laws. And by the numbers, it's clear that Donald's reputation needs no rehabilitation. What we have in Donald Trump is a showman extraordinaire whose plays, while clownish, break through the clutter to teach us that everything is fungible, everything is negotiable, and that our national predicaments might be corrected through better business practice. It's less a disease than a dialogue, and one worth having. For me, what was most interesting about yesterday's competing Jeb and Trump town halls was that really for the first time, Trump was able to force Bush to do something that he clearly never wanted to do in this race or never even imagined he'd have to do, and that's get down in the mud with Trump and take him on directly in a political theater of war like New Hampshire. Bush actually said he doesn't find the term anchor babies offensive yesterday. Now, that's a long way from his act of love comment about illegal immigration. And by doing that, Jeb has now started to alienate Trump's supporters in a much more direct way. Still, Trump clearly won the day in terms of optics, crowd size, and messaging. I do believe Trump can win the GOP nomination, but I don't think the GOP will let him. Our current political system is still run from Washington, D.C., by D.C. insiders, for D.C. insiders. Otherwise, we probably wouldn't be talking about 2016 candidates named Bush and Clinton, just like we were in 1992 and in 2008. So soak in the Trumpism, enjoy it, but most importantly, learn from it while it lasts. So if or when Trump rides off into the sunset, we can all make a better choice at the ballot box. And like Kelly says in that blog post, succumb to the Trumpism. It's just business. Miranda?
Nicely played. Yeah,
Well,
I mean, I am enjoying. I think a lot of people, whether you're going to vote for him or not, enjoy Trump being in the race. He is bringing a lot of attention. I mean, that debate, 24 million viewers. That's like the biggest crowd viewership that for a Don Sporting events in history.
Yeah, they're tuning
That's
in,
huge.
obviously. He's not going anywhere. He said so himself yesterday in New Hampshire. And, you know, I'm not saying he's going to be the nominee. I do think he has a very good chance and a much better chance than anybody has given him up until this point. I do think that he's going to benefit the GOP as a whole. But I think Ted Cruz is the person, if Trump does get out of the race, who's going to benefit the most.
All right,
We'll see.
we'll have to see. Developing right now, former President Jimmy Carter says he's at ease after learning his cancer has now spread to his brain.
I've had a wonderful life. I've had thousands of friends, and I've had an exciting and adventurous and gratifying existence.
Carter learned about the cancer after undergoing liver surgery. He revealed today he has 4 spots of melanoma on his brain. Carter, who's 90, says he'll receive cancer treatment every 3 weeks.
St. Louis police arrested at least 9 people during rowdy protests last night, not far from Ferguson. Police also used tear gas to break up a crowd protesting the police shooting death of an 18-year-old black man. Cops say that man pointed a gun at police while they were trying to carry out a search warrant at a house.
The surviving inmate who escaped from an upstate New York prison now faces new charges. Prosecutors just indicted David Sweat on 2 counts of escape and 1 count of promoting prison contraband. Sweat pled not guilty. He and Richard Matt escaped in early June, as you may recall. Matt was shot and killed by police. Donald Trump also weighing in on Hillary Clinton and her use of a private email server while she served as Secretary of State.
The question is whether or not Democrat prosecutors will prosecute her. And everybody is watching to see whether or not they're honorable. Because, frankly, if that were a Republican that did what she did, they would have already been in jail.
This, of course, coming as Hillary Clinton's favorability ratings take a hit, falling to their lowest levels since 2001. Clinton recently became defiant when questioned about her email server. She maintains she never sent classified information. 3
firefighters die while battling wildfires in Washington state. 4 others were injured near the Cascade Mountains. At least 4,000 homes have been evacuated. Gusty winds and dry conditions have fueled these flames, which have scorched more than 1 million acres across the West. The State Department says no way to those rumors that Iran would handle its own inspection of the Parchin military site. The department says the UN's nuclear watchdog groups have no plans to actually hand over power to Tehran after a media agency implied that that was the case. The International Atomic Energy Agency still must verify that Iran is holding up its end of the bargain before the UN will roll back any economic sanctions.
Caitlyn Jenner could soon face manslaughter charges following her car accident back in February. Investigators say Jenner was driving too fast when her car hit another vehicle, setting off a chain reaction crash that killed 1 person. Detectives have now completed their investigation and will recommend the charges to prosecutors. Jenner could face a year in jail if convicted. And we now have our first Atlantic hurricane of the season. Danny now has sustained winds of 75 miles per hour. Danny is expected to reach Puerto Rico by Tuesday.
A warning for parents with children heading back to school in the next couple of weeks. We've got you back this noon with a warning about mutant head lice that is resistant to treatments.
Oh, mutant head lice. You can't make this stuff.
No,
a local
you
news
cannot.
affiliate there warning about these mutant head lice resistant to treatment.
And of course, this is happening just in time for the kids to go back to school. Twitter just exploded, as you might recall, with, imagine, I should say, with comments about the lice. Let's take a look at today's rehash. Twitter user Mr. Hook writes, with this new outbreak of mutant lice, Now would be a great time for Hogwarts to change out that sorting hat.
Yeah, I'm not a Harry Potter guy, but that's a good statement there. Charles Lake says, quote, the treatment-resistant mutant lice in talks with Marvel for a possible X-Men spin-off. We'll see. And Marshall Ramsey writes, yesterday's headline, Jared, today's mutant lice. I'm building a bunker. I'm with you there, buddy.
And Colin Frost says, headline, mutant lice are probably coming, like they might end up staying in and watching a movie instead. Well, at least people are having some fun with that.
Of course, we always want to hear from you. You can tweet Miranda or me directly, or reach out to us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Newsmax, or better yet, write into us directly, newsmax.com/comments. Mutant lice, Miranda. Be on the lookout.
I am. I'm worried. You should be worried. You have a daughter.
I know. I checked on this. They actually have these in Florida. But we'll talk about this a little bit more coming up in the show. We have some more substantive information for you, but not a real concern. Nobody's going to get sick from this. Just more of a nuisance than anything else.
Right.
All right, before we go, we have a special offer for everybody. The Donald Trump hat. He's been wearing it across the country with the Make America Great slogan written out there right on the front of the cap. You can get your own cap free with this offer. Just pay shipping and handling. Go to newsmax.com/TrumpCap or call 1-800-933-8396.
And coming up next on Newsmax Now, shots fired. A look at the rising tensions between North and South Korea. Will the U.S. intervene? Washington Times columnist and Newsmax insider Todd Wood will join us live with the very latest on the situation there. And a former reality star and admitted child molester, Josh Duggar, finds himself in even more hot water after the Ashley Madison website hack. And the terror group Hamas claims a dolphin was on a secret spy mission and they have the marine mammal captured. We'll explain when Newsmax Now continues.